another one where not everything was pretty all the time, but rebounding was consistent. Just what was kind of the key to the effort there for you guys?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job. Obviously, TK, had 13 of our 36 rebounds. Thought he did a great job on the boards. We were just trying to get more possessions offensively and not allow them second chance points. So I thought, only allowing them 6 offensive rebounds, was a good sign for us.
What did Jakari mean for you in the first half today, especially a night where some of the other guys weren't shooting?
Yeah, he's the difference there in the first half. We're up 13 and he has 11 coming off the bench and hitting 3 threes. Like, it was a big punch in the arm for us. He gave us that energy. Just came off the bench and really made some solid plays, knocked down some shots, and it was good to see him, get going. Like, he hasn't shot the ball well, but he hasn't had a lot of opportunities and attempts, like as many as some other guys, and he really has shot the ball well in practice and leading up to the season. So I think that was a really good sign for him and his confidence.
Hey Matt, this ends a 2-6 skid in the Big Ten in December. What does this say about your team's maturity on this first Big Ten road game?
We're really 2-6
prior to this game.
Damn. It's something that, like, I was talking about it earlier, like, we've played really good schedules, and we've only lost 1 game in November in 4 years, so that's a hell of a statement. So like, when you look at like the people we've played in our non-conference schedule, it's hard to like put it on it, because like, you're playing Villanova, you're playing North Carolina, you're playing Texas Tech, you're playing Duke, you're playing Gonzaga, you're playing Marquette. I can keep going. Then all of a sudden we go on the road, and then we play 1 conference game, and we haven't had that success. I didn't know it was that bad. But it wasn't like one thing that we could put. Obviously, you got 5 different teams that you're talking about there. But I just think for us, it's just trying to be consistent. But I also think winning in the Big Ten on the road is very difficult. I think that has something to do with it. But it's trying to get your team ready to play and play for keeps. Like, we were in and out of this game, in my opinion, but they were in and out of the game too, right? Like, we had good stretches, and obviously we had more than they did, but just trying to find that consistency through the year. Because obviously in 2 of those years when we lost those games, we still won the league, but we're putting ourselves in a hole. But you can't go back and look at 5 different teams and kind of figure out it's like one thing, like not taking care of the basketball or rebounding or whatever, because it's 5 different teams.
You mentioned being in and out of the game. At least Rutgers cut it back to a 1-point game, 1 point in the first half. How are you guys able to kind of run away with it and stop the crowd and the momentum?
Yeah, I just think shot making. Braden made 3 threes early in the first half, and Jakari made those 3 threes also. We did a good job on the glass. We didn't turn the ball over in the first half. I think we had 3 turnovers in the first half. We had 6 in the second. So we did a much better job in that first half of just giving ourselves opportunities. TK and Oscar are pretty good offensive rebounders. So if we're taking good shots, and even when we don't make them, they can get tap backs or offensive rebounds. A couple of those plays were spray out offensive rebounds, which, just breaks people's back. You play good D, you get them to miss, then they end up scoring.
Matt, can you just speak to how Oscar and Daniel's physical dimensions and Trey's physicality against smaller guys has kind of transformed your team? I thought it really showed up tonight.
Yeah, just, Daniel's length. I thought he battled. Obviously, he got some fouls early. He had a big game our last game. And just his length, and then Oscar's overall physicality in there. Just not putting everything on Trey, right? And last year, Trey would play 35 minutes and at times and play the center and have to deal with guys that are bigger than him and more physical than him. Now Trey can do more roaming because they take on the opponent's center.
Matt, how big is it? You've won in this building, you've lost in this building. How big is it to keep that crowd out of it and not let them get any momentum?
Yeah, I told our team, I thought the start of the second half was huge. We really played well. We played well for about 6 to 8 minutes there and took the lead up. And that's what we had to do. So, they didn't get into it. And I don't think we played that great after that. But we had it at 23 points, so we had it at a pretty good distance. But this can get really loud. This is a great home court advantage, and we've been on the other end of that.
Matt, Rutgers played 6 freshmen, and they were out there a lot of the second half. In a sport that's gotten pretty old, what do you think about what they're trying to do with this young group?
Yeah, you know, it works if you can keep them, right? It works if you can keep them. If you can't keep them, who cares, right? Because if you can only keep a guy and you're like, hey man, he's gonna be pretty good. Well, he's gonna be pretty good for Rutgers then, right? Now he becomes a sophomore, but if he leaves, like that's the dilemma of, you know, why the rule stinks. Because that's, you know, if you can get them, man, you can't grow them if you can't keep them. Like that's just the nature of development. And then flip on, you know, you guys talked about, you know, some of the shortcomings we've had, but like, think about the experiences that Fletcher Lawyer, Braden Smith, Trey Kaufman, Wren have had. Well, they've been freshmen in this building. They've been sophomores in this building. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like we're at an advantage. We have corporate DNA. Like we have guys, they can coach our team. They coach our team. Like, you know, that's what you want. Like, you know, you empower people that stay in your program, that grow, and you go look at this program and you go look at Caleb McConnell and you go look at dudes like that. That's what this program's about, that tough, gritty, but it's growing. Like you see how Caleb was as a freshman, and you see him as a sophomore, you see him as a junior, you see him as a senior. Like that's the epitome of development. But it's not just a Rutgers issue, it's a college basketball issue. Because now if you play young guys and you live with them, and now they go into their sophomore years, they're gonna be better. Then they're gonna go in then they're gonna be better. But if you can't keep your core group together, like that's what makes it hard. And that's why you see a lot of coaches, like they'll like, hey man, I'm gonna stick with this, I'm gonna play some young guys, and then they leave on them. And then like now that's why you see people just play older guys and go in the portal. Like why not? Like, you know, you're trying to win, you're trying to get the NCAA tournament, you're trying to win the Big Ten, trying to keep your job, right? And so it's a tough racket, you know, to put your thumb on at times.
Just go one more right here, Casey. Matt, kind of staying on roster, Jack's out with an illness, and you're able to bring someone in like Murphy with that much experience
Right.
in shooting. Just how were you able to build the bottom of your roster as much as the top?
Yeah, no question. Yeah, just being honest, like, you know, we had to be really honest with Omer, because we have Braden Smith, right? And when we lost our face-up 4 option, we still had Oscar, we still had Daniel, and we still had TK. And so like now trying to get somebody, really JB came into effect as a 4 because all those guys weren't with us in the summer. We start practicing, we're like, man, he's a weapon at the 4. He's really, really good. But to have a guy like Liam Murphy that, you know, is a dart thrower that can spread you out, and like if he's gonna get open looks, he's gonna knock them down, is a real benefit for us. And it was good to see him, you know, knock that shot down and come in and help us win the game, because, you know, being out for a couple games, you know, with his shoulder. So hopefully Jack can get healthy and get back.
Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.